All right, well, there's the door. It's almost there. So what I've done is just indicated a few questionable areas on the panel. There's something happening there. It feels like a low spot. Here there's a bigger low spot, one I can actually see, as well as something here. I want to address these before we weld it onto the car. We're that close. We're really, really close with this panel. The gap here will get all pulled in. Just finished rolling this bottom flange to tie into the inner wheel well, the wheel house. There's one more thing we need to do, and that's install a fuel door. Couldn't really use the one off the Infinity. There's a big rectangle. Didn't look good. It wouldn't have looked good if we had thrown that on. So I picked up something that's a little more appropriate for this muscle car. Yeah. Check with the door. It clicks shut. Get the latch all hooked up to the strike. That creaking noise, not sure if you heard it. Hear that? That's the interior door panel, the original one off the Charger. I got those installed. Let's go take a look at that before we get on to other stuff. Alright, check that out. We've got the two sections of the door panel kind of mocked up, installed. A little tight there at the front because it's binding up on the original dash section of the Charger. We had to do some modifications. A lot of modifications, as you can see, because we're going to kind of blend the Infinity in with the Charger dash, but not today. So this is just kind of a sneak peek as to where things are going. I think in the previous video, the ceiling liner video, I showed you the back deck and where that was going to go. So I'm going to see if we can kind of meld the two in with what we're going to be building inside this car. It's going to be a two-seater, no back seat. There'll be a big cover there, speakers, whatever in the back, and this front here, that's going to be a whole another episode as to how we're going to make all this work together and make it look pretty. With all the electronics in this car, it's unfortunate, but we have to keep some of the stuff like this gauge pod here, and it's actually going to work out quite well with all the electronics. So anyway, go over here and see where we have to put this door. Right there. So we can get this installed. Now you might say, Nick, this thing's going the wrong way. This should be on the other side because that little flapper, the wind's going to catch it, flip your door open. Well, there is a spring on the back side that kind of holds it shut. If it really poses a problem, we'll just take and shave some of that down so it's catching less wind. But for now, this is the neck for the Infinity. The angle is different, and I've kind of brought the two together. That gasket there, that's stock to this part here, and coincidentally it fits quite nicely. So we need to take and figure out the diameter of this hole, create a flange that goes in and rolls up to catch on those little tabs there. I think there's 4 of them all the way around. Pardon the blurry image. Just trying to roll it around. So there's 4 tabs there, and that's what holds this whole thing in. The distance from that lip there to the tab is 5/8 of an inch, plus we have to allow probably a 1/4 inch. This is just using the micrometer to roll in and catch on those tabs all the way around. Yeah, so 5/8 plus 1/4, what is that, 7/8? Yeah, 7/8 of an inch we have to roll in and roll in. Roll in and roll in. Yeah, that makes sense. It'll make a lot more sense when I start doing it. Here we go. So I made a little template of that door. This is the front this way. And it's not a perfect circle. It's a little bit flat of a circle. Ellipse, that one, the second one. And not there, but here. Made a hole in the center. Center point going to line up. I'm basically splitting the distance between this feature line here that runs along the top of the arch and this feature up here. Split the difference. It would look best. Put it up one way or the other, not so good. At least in my eyes. And then the other thing we need to do is this line's going up, but this one's going level. Turn it up like that. Again, it'll look funny. So we're going to make it level. Yeah, that's level. All right. Ooh, yeah. Now, normally I like to use masking tape to kind of space myself out, but trying to roll 3/4 inch around that, pretty tricky. So we're going to put some witness lines, 7/8, 7/8, just a series of them. And then just connect the dots, so to speak. I'm going to cut on the inside of that, roll it in, roll it out, and then we'll take and shave that off so it's nice and smooth in terms of a nice circle. We actually have to create a notch back here and here to allow for these little divots to slide into so that this little thing doesn't rotate. It's a pretty neat little thing. See, that's the original Infinity fuel cap, and there we have it. Normally you have this on the driver's side with the wind pushing it shut. Like I said, if it poses a problem, we can just take and shave that off and then just repaint this. Keep this black or body color, not sure yet. Throw down the comments. Tell me what you think. It is a fuel door, it's an accent, maybe more sporty if we leave it satin black, or if we make it disappear with the word fuel showing. Maybe that. Anyway, that's for another day. Plenty of time. So let me cut a square hole out and then we'll start forming this. More of a rectangle. Funny how gravity works. So as I was saying, that's more of a rectangle. Now we're going to take the snips and finish that off. Now you're probably wondering, what in the HE double hockey sticks is he doing? I'm cutting a hole. And by removing a lot of this inner material, now when I cut the rest of the material out, it's going to be more accurate. The material's not going to pull where the snips go. A lot easier to cut a little sliver off than try cutting all that material out with a pair of snips. Nice if you had a big hole saw, just right through. Now this material will have to be worked because it's going to pull things around on the surface. Yeah, I could have perhaps made a ring and welded it in, but I think we can form this. And like I always like to start out here and work my way up to the line. That way at the same time I'm stretching the material. This whole surface is starting to dive in. Okay, I'm getting very close to that blue line. I'm not going to get onto it just yet. I have to keep working the material in the center, keep stretching it, bringing it out. It would look pretty neat that way, where it just kind of goes in on a slight angle and the field door is mounted inside, but I want to use that one. She's coming around. He's got to work this upper area. This is easier down here. Angle wise, the top is a little tricky. It's got a heavy head on it, so it's quite nice for this type of work. Our level is coming out, but it's just taking time. Let's see how that door looks. All right, well, there's the door. It's almost there. Take this out, you can see that flange has been hammered. No pun intended. We need to stretch a teeny bit more to restore this curvature outward because it's pulled in, while maintaining about a 45 degree on that. Because as you can see, we've got maybe 60. And then we have to roll in that quarter to catch that dog. That final flange on the inside, that's the easiest part. This here, this is the complicated part. This is the part that we really can't build up a thickness of Bondo, just eyeballing it, because I can't hold the straight edge and this. So we'd have about a ½ inch of Bondo if we left it as that. You could do that and just bring the door out and meet everything, squish the door into the Bondo, but at some point in time, it could fall out. The Bondo, not the door. You might think I'd be using this hammer using the round face, but I'm actually using the square end. Square end allows me to follow, because this contour here, this radius, the circumference, whatever you want to call it, and then I'll turn it 90 degrees and use the apex, the crown, the absolute crown of that hammer to hammer on the inside, stretching the material, bringing this out. I cannot stretch the inner flange. It'll have to be shrunk. That's the nature of how this has to happen. This outside surface, we don't touch it. We might clean this up a little bit, sharpen it up to bring into the door at the very end, but what we need to do is work with this flange and stretch the center portion of the flange so that it restores that curvature outward of the outside panel. We'll get a straight edge on this later to make sure that we're good. I don't know if you guys can hear the sharp peen sound versus the dull sound. The peen means I'm compressing the metal, I'm squishing it, allowing it to kind of move out, and that's how we're getting that curvature outward. The material's getting thinner, it's 18 gauge, but it's getting thinner and it's pushing outward. Okay, how do I show this to you guys? It's not exactly where that, it's pretty close. Oh, it's more that way. If I get a magnet. Yeah, look at that. So if you can sight down from the top, the back edge is perfect. It's exactly where it needs to be. But you see the front there? That is 1/8 of an inch to nothing. And that needs to be brought out. Now I'm wondering, let's see. Because there's a gap up under here. So if we push that out, nope, see, no matter how much I push out, it's not allowing that to touch the ruler. Let's stretch some more. When you look down the side of the car, you want the reflections to travel straight through, as if there's no door there. You don't want it to go in and then out again. Okay, we can't really try the door or the housing until we roll that up and then take out some of this material at the back. Okay, I'll show you one more time before I take it to the next step. It's getting very, very close. If I take and push the panel, you see the panels are really in there. If I push that out, hopefully I can do it. We are where we need to be. Yeah. Focus. Focus on the panel. Need to measure a consistent 1/4 inch. And it's going to be a slow progression, a little bit at a time. Hook on and roll it. This is where the panel is going to come off. The car will clean this up on the table. If you go too much too fast, you will rip it. And we don't want to rip it or create kinks. Because essentially we have to shrink that flange that we're just turning right now into itself. Metal shaping is a lot like making pizza dough. You're moving metal around. As you squish it thinner, it moves out. If you trap the edges, like we do with our English wheel, by not wheeling up to the edge completely, it will bulge out in the middle. Just trying to give it a start, because to use a dolly to do that, a little tricky. Once I get a start, then we can get the dolly on this side, hit it from the other side, off the table of course, and finalize. Okay, I think that's going to be good. Looks like heck right now. Trust me, it'll look really nice once we're done. Alright, so as you can see, the inside of the panels has been primed earlier, but because we've been working the panel, it's got some scratches in it. This wheel arch got a bit hammered because we rolled it, and this area you can see the paint coming off. We've been doing a lot of work here, so it's just only natural for it to come off. So we'll sand this out and wipe it off with degreaser and hit it again, just the bare areas with primer. Let's go ahead and roll this final 1/4 inch flange and get this back on the car and see how it looks. A little bending tool to give me a start, and now I can place the dolly in behind and roll it over the rest of the way. Hammer control, guys. You can grip it like this, but you don't have as much control, at least I find, than if you just stick that index finger out there. And that basically points to where you want to hit. Give it a shot, see if it works for you. I'm trying not to peen this, just to roll it over, so the hammer is actually hitting the dolly right there. Okay, fuel door, fit it, see how it looks. Wow, that's not bad. Still a little bit in there. This is good, this is not, we'll have to fix that. Let's get the door. Call it a door, but I mean the housing. We're not gonna have enough room to drop that down. Can you guys see? It's better. Shoo. Okay, well it looks like those two catches are going to catch there. I need to notch, not out here, but down below. Take that flange out. Okay. Let me get a straight edge. I was right the first time, right there. So those marks are correct. Okay, I'm just going to take a Dremel, knock that out, knock this side out. Hopefully she drops down inside. I don't know how the factory shaped their hole, so I'm just kind of going by what I think should work. Oh, right there. Okay. I'm coming in a bit of an angle. I'm going to open the hole up a little more now. Need the hammer. That's a little easier with the panel on the car. It's moving around. I'm very slowly opening this hole up. The flange, lower flange part. Okay, we're working this for a little while, and it's almost there. A little low spot here, but I think we're going to adjust some of the stuff on the car because I don't want to be chasing my tail with it just on the bench supported by a couple of blocks. Let's see how this neck fits. Neck, not nick. So here. Some height. One thing I noticed, this is not a consistent distance all the way around. It actually has a wave to it. So, like these little clips here. So I had to keep adjusting and working with that lower flange I rolled so it would clip in. Let's take this nice and slow. Make sure that we are on the right angle, and there we are. We are in. Just snapped in. Boom. All 4 little tabs have snapped into their respective location on that flange. I need a light. Here. Let's get you guys in underneath. You can see those tabs is not really getting clearer. I'm not sure. Maybe the LED is dying. But they're snapped in. Now there is a little locator pin so that this is actually a little bit high here. See, catching a little bit. Once I Dremel that one spot, pop, it's going to drop in. Might not make that noise, but we can use our imagination. Aside from that, it's looking good. And like there's quite a bit of tension on here. Now maybe if you're flying down the highway, she could pop open. So we might end up taking and just removing that. Okay guys, let's get this on the car and have a look, see how it goes, make some final adjustments, and then I think this quarter panel, aside from the back having to be primered and all that stuff again, can be installed. Check out how these doors close. Done. A little bit of vibration there because that's not welded yet. Good. Ooh, that's sharp. Modern latches. Nothing beats that. Good. Now, see, I need to pull this out like that because that changes the shape in this area. I pull that out, run a screw in there. See, the first bit of shaping didn't take too long, you know, the initial shape. It was fitting that thing in until it was just right. Let's put a screw right there. Okay, this actually has to come out at this level here, but we can't do that until we cut it off. See, I could have wrapped tape around this to kind of protect it, but then I can't see how well the edge fits. So as long as we're very careful, we should really get this done. And it just snapped in. There we go. We'll come out on, oop. Okay, it's in. So I need to make that little Dremeled reveal for the pin so she doesn't rotate. But there we are, and there we have our gas cap. I don't know if I like this ring on here. It's a bit annoying, you know, hanging down on the paint. Oh, look at this. We have a little hook. Done, and it doesn't touch the paint. Okay, 3 clicks, done. And there we have our gas door. Oh, there. Wasn't sitting right. Has to sit on the outside of the inner wheelhouse. We are all set to weld these quarters on. Yeah, this all has to be scribed, fitted, done. All right, guys, so if you enjoyed this episode, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet and you're new to our channel, please subscribe. It helps us out a lot. And until next time, take care. Let's try this again. See, this door panel has to slide ahead a little bit, and it's actually touching the dash. That's what it is. There. See, it's pushing it a little bit, springing it, and there's a discontinuity between the quarter and that. It's because the quarter is sitting underneath the skin. Once that comes out, we set it. This is going to be perfect. Done. Almost done. Won't be long now.